They say that it's what's you're eating that is killing you. But I'm here to tell you that it's not what you're eating that's killing you. It's actually what's eating you. Have you ever been in a situation? I don't know if this has ever happened to you, where you're sitting in front of the TV and all of a sudden you look down at your lap and there's like an empty gallon of ice cream. Has that ever happened to you? Type a one into the chat if that's ever happened to you. Is it just me? Maybe it's an empty bag of chips and you're sitting there looking at the thing and you're like, did I just do that? When I was little, I loved that TV show Family Matters with Urkel. And Urkel used to say, did I do that? Right. And I would look at this gallon of ice cream and I'm like, did I just do that? Right. It's almost like I had this like shutdown moment where I ate the whole thing and I didn't realize that I did that. Right. Or I wasn't fully aware as I was doing it because I was watching TV, I was talking, I was whatever, but I wasn't fully aware of what it was that I was doing. Now, mind you, I was put on my first diet when I was 8 years old. Do I know that ice cream or chips are probably not good for me? I ran a weight management program for kids. Okay. And as a nurse practitioner, do I know that ice cream and chips probably not best thing for me? If you happen to know what it is that you should do, but you don't do it, type I feel ya. Because this is the thing is that I hear it over and over and over from people. It's not about knowing what to do. It's about doing what we know. And there's many different reasons why we don't do what we know. But it seems like there is something that hijacks all logic ever so often. And that thing that hijacks all logic, that is the thing that is killing us. The coaching program that I use was co-founded by a critical care physician, Dr. A. He was, like I mentioned, a critical care physician, and he noticed he could save people's lives, but he also noticed that all he was doing was putting a band-aid on them and sending them back out into the world, only to keep coming back. And he has done years and years and years of research of how it is that he could help people be healthy. And Dr. A claims, this is his suggestion, and I actually subscribe to his philosophy, that the number one killer today is actually, type it down into the chat if you think you know what it might be. The number one killer today is emotional mismanagement. So if you go to the CDC website, I think it was as of 2019. Let me see here. There's top 10 killers, right? Heart disease, cancer, accidents with unintentional injuries, chronic lower respiratory diseases, strokes, Alzheimer's, diabetes, nephrotic syndrome or kidney disease, influenza and pneumonia, and intentional self-harm. Once again, this is from 2019 before the pandemic. But these are the top 10 killers. So where do emotions fit into that? Well, as I was mentioning to you, I use, I'll sit there and all of a sudden the whole gallon of ice cream is gone, right? Some people use alcohol. Some people use tobacco. Some people use drugs. Some people use food. But the driving force for whatever poison you choose, okay, you can pick any one of these poisons. The driving force for all of these oftentimes boils down to emotions. For me, when I'm eating those things, very often what I'm doing is I'm trying to numb something, right? I'm trying to numb something that feels uncomfortable. I was actually just talking to a group of coaches earlier today, and one of them mentioned that she feels something in her stomach, and she's always interpreted that thing as hunger. So she's thought to feed that thing, right? Come to find out, it wasn't hunger, it was fear, right? So we have these actual physical sensations in our body, and we have somehow interpreted them as this is what I need to do. And we want to more often than not numb. And if we're looking to numb something, that is because of an emotion. Now, I am here to tell you that there is no right or wrong emotion. There is no good or bad emotion. There are emotions that are more comfortable, and there are some emotions that are more uncomfortable, right? But it's not neither good or bad, right or wrong to feel what you feel. I absolutely love the movie Inside Out. one of my favorite movies. And through the whole time, they're trying to get rid of sadness. They're trying to get rid of sadness, right? Is the character. And spoiler alert, they come to find out that sadness is actually part of what contributes to a meaningful life. So the truth is that there is no good or bad emotion. But if we get stuck in a loop of a destructive emotion, that can be devastating, not only in terms of living a more fulfilling life, but in terms of living altogether. One statistic is that mismanaged emotions, which include worry and hopelessness, anxiety and depression, those are as significant risk factors as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. I'll read that again. Mismanaged emotions, which include worry, hopelessness, anxiety, and depression, are as significant a risk factor as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. Now, as I mentioned to you, emotions in and of themselves, they're not bad. It's when we get stuck. It's when we get stuck that it can really hijack our existence, hijack our very life. Okay. Now, what I want to assure you of is number one, if you have ever felt stuck in any one of those emotions, you are not alone. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And that is actually the whole theme of this year's mental health awareness is you are not alone. How appropriate after a year of social isolation, social distancing, to remind ourselves that you are not alone. Okay. I believe it's 1 in 5 Americans experience a mental health episode every year. Okay. And I mean, every day. Oh, I can't remember what the statistic is. I'll post it down below. It's 1 in 5. Oh, I just read it a minute ago. Want to make sure I give you guys accurate information. But my point is that you are not alone. And there are many different things that affect our emotions, including hormonal balance. Okay. And there is absolutely no shame in number one, seeking help. And number two, taking medication. Just as there is absolutely no shame in having a headache and taking something for your headache. Okay. I want to make that crystal clear. I have myself taken medications for both depression and anxiety in the past. It is something that I have contended with. And I want to make very clear that there is absolutely no shame in that. As we mentioned, there are hormones that play into our feelings of hopelessness and anxiety and worry and depression. And this is what's really awesome. And this is what I want us to focus on. And I'm going to be coming to you to talk about is what are some of the things that you can do to improve the way you feel without medication? Not because you shouldn't take medication, but to empower you to do what you can do about those emotions. So tomorrow, I'm going to be coming back to talk a little bit about how is it that our emotions affect us physically. Okay, so I invite you to join me back tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about how our emotions affect our physical health. So how our mental health affects our physical health. And I want to just remind you as we're signing out that you are not alone. The truth is that it's not what you're eating that's killing you, it's what's eating you that's killing you. But the good news is that you get to choose what you eat. And we're going to be talking about how to take back that power. Have a good one.